Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of the Lanes Podcast. Thank you for having another listen, guys. Just before we get into the show, just want to talk to you about our new sponsor that's come on board, Books and Gifts Direct. Books and Gifts Direct is Australia's largest direct seller of books and gifts. They sell their products in lunchrooms, reception desks, and they are in more than 25,000 workplaces in Australia. Their books and gifts sell up to 70% off recommended retail price, and as the largest direct seller of books and gifts across Australia, they have a strong buying power, and without the overheads of a shop front, they can afford to pass on significant savings. So guys, if you want to take a look at this, the link will be below in the description. But guys, let's not waste any more time. Let's get straight into the show. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of the Lanes Podcast. Today's episode is going to be a reaction and a thought process of the first two games of opening round of the NBA. Guys, two really, really good games, I thought. I thought the Warriors-Lakers one was the best out of both of them, but we will talk a little bit more about that. But let's not waste any more time, guys. Let's get straight into the show. Welcome to another episode of the Lanes Podcast. All right, guys, back for another episode. I was very happy with the level of basketball that we got this past two games. It was a really, really good opening round for the NBA. It's been, it's funny because last season I was interested in the NBA, but not as interested as I am now. And I think it's just because of the rush season, and it didn't really feel like a season. But once the playoffs got back into it, I was really excited. I'm just really excited right now to watch the start of the season. I'm really interested to see a lot of these teams. There's a lot of teams that are going to be really, really nice. But we did get probably the two of the best games to start the season. First, I'm going to talk about the Bucks and Nets. My first thought and reaction, I didn't get to watch all of the game. I was going to watch it from the start. I had to go to the dentist today, get my teeth fixed up, and I was going to watch it from the start, but I just didn't want to. And then when I hit from live, I hit it from 8 minutes in the third quarter. So I didn't really see the first half. I probably will go back and watch a little bit more highlights. But my reaction from that is Brooklyn looks good. I don't think Brooklyn looked bad at all, but I just think that people, and I'd never underestimated the Bucks because I still think they were going to make the conference finals. But at this point in time, the Bucks are still the best team in the East right now. And I think it is a bit interesting to see how people still don't believe that they're that good. A lot of people just will say that we said they're this good. But a lot of people are forgetting. A lot of people are forgetting that they won the championship. And Giannis, it's crazy. He looks 5 to 10% better. 5 to 10% better. But what the craziest thing stood out to me is he caught the ball on the 3-point line. And he caught it, jab stepped, one dribble, dunked. And there was two instances where it was like a guy that's playing under 14s that's like 6 foot, 6'1", and everybody else is like 5'6", 5'7", not even. What are you going to do? You can't guard him. Like, he's probably, I reckon, a lot of people are like, oh, KD's the hardest guy to guard, but I think Giannis is the most just unguardable. Like, there's nothing you can do, like the brute strength, power. He is right now the version of Shaq. Like, you just can't stop him. There's nothing you can really do to stop him. Like, he gets to his spots anytime he wants, and same with KD, but mate, I was so impressed with Giannis, just the way he was able to get better and better, because he just won the championship, and there wasn't a massive break in between, the championship and him playing in this first couple games. So I was really impressed with him. I really liked what he did. I think at the moment he is the favorite for the MVP. If the Milwaukee Bucks keep going the way they are, I think that they're going to lose a little bit more games than anticipated, just based on the fact that they know what it takes to win a championship. They know the blueprint. And there was an interesting stat. Mike Budenholzer hasn't played, I think it was last year or the year before, didn't play a player on his team over 29 minutes. And what that shows me is now in the back end, that's why Giannis is so durable. That's why he rarely gets injured. The first time I ever really saw him injured was, this previous playoffs against the Atlanta Hawks. But he's very, very durable. And for a guy that has a lot of miles on his body, a guy that takes a lot of hits, a lot of physical, abuse, he is really, really strong still, and he's still getting better and better. And we're just hitting peak Giannis. I do believe right now that the Bucks have gotten better as a team. They have gotten better. The acquisitions that they've done are low-key, but they've added George Hill, a person I really like as a player. I think he's super smart, super reliable. You know what you're going to get from him. It's kind of like a Toyota Camry, He's always going to get the job done. He's never going to break down on you. He's always going to be reliable. And that's all you need in a backup point guard. You need someone super reliable, especially when you got Giannis, especially when you got Drew Holiday as your starting point guard. You just need a person who can get the job done. And I'm really impressed with him. I also really like Pat Connaughton. But there's one player I'm really happy to see getting minutes. Jordan Noara. I'm not too sure how to pronounce his last name. There has been different pronunciations. I'm super high on him. I really, really like him at 6'8", 6'9", can handle the ball, can shoot the ball. He's going to fit in this system, and I really like the potential he's got. And let's not forget, Bobby Portis didn't play today's game. Now, he is a player that will be of massive impact for this team. And Drew Holiday went down with right heel contusion in the game. So I just think that although Brooklyn might be the deepest team and LA might be a deep team, you don't need the deepest team to win championships. Milwaukee played 8 players throughout the finals on the regular and won the championship. So they know their rotation already, and I think Milwaukee's still going to be a team in the buyout market that players are going to look for. Because at the end of the day, why wouldn't you want to join a championship caliber team and try to compete with championships? And if I have someone like a Giannis on my team, I already feel 10 times more confident, and it's because he's won and he's done it the right way. He's done it the organic way. So I'm super impressed on the Bucks. Flip that from the net side. I don't think this is a bad thing for them. Sorry, pardon me. I don't think this is a bad thing for them at all. Sorry, pardon me. Yeah, I don't think this is a bad thing at all. I just think that it's going to take time to get all those players back into rhythm. And I think, you got LaMarcus Aldridge, you had to medically retire. He's coming back. Paul Millsap needs to fit into the system. Patty Mills looked really, really good. I think he was at 1.7 from 7 from 3-point line. So he's giving you really good production there. I'm not too sure what he ended up on, but he's giving you good production. But they're just got to figure out their rotation. They're 6, they're 7, they're 8, they're 9 players. And I think Steve Nash is a smart coach. And what he did at 4 minutes, he looked at the game, he analysed it. He said, we're down about 12 to 15 points. I can't remember off the top of my head. He put these bench players on. And he said, you know what? Let's wipe our hands. Let's take this L, but let's learn from it. And I don't mind that as a coach. Obviously, as a player, you want to go for the win every time. But you've got to realize there's 81 more games in the regular season, and they're in the market to win a championship. So I think he realized, look, let's just lose this game. Let's take it as a reality check where, look, we can get beaten. We're not the best team in the NBA yet. There's still teams in here that can beat us. And I actually think it's a good thing for the Brooklyn Nets. I also want to see them have James Harden a little bit more pick and roll with Nicholas Claxton. I think that looks a bit dangerous. And I think James Harden, I think offensively, he's one of the hardest players to guard. He's one of the most offensively gifted and scoring out of anyone in the NBA. Him and KD might be the best pure scorers in the NBA, like in the sense where you put them on street ball, they'll dominate. They just kill. That's their mold. They're street ballers. In a sense, they can just go play anywhere. They can hoop anywhere. But I just think that he needs to be the point guard of this team because he's probably the player on this team that has the best vision, the best hand, just the best court vision. And they don't really have a true point guard on this team because Kyrie, at the end of the day, he's more of a 2. Especially with James on the team, he would be the point guard. So I'd like to see them use a lot more point guard. And yeah, I know they use him as point guard, but he needs to really direct it. And then he needs to get KD to his spots. And I would love to see KD come off balls and kind of implement what they did in Golden State with KD. And KD flourished in that role. That was peak KD for me because he was in a system where he could go and get 30 points within a system. And you kind of forgot that he was getting 30 points a game. So I would like to see him implement a little bit of that. And I know Steve Nash was at Golden State with him. So I don't doubt for a second that they might look to do that, in the future because James Harden can pick up any system. Patty Mills can pick up any system. So I just think, I think that's a take from me. And especially if you're a Brooklyn fan, you would like to see KD not be as strenuous and just let him get the basketball where he wants it. Because at the end of the day, he's unguardable. He is unguardable too. He's probably, I think, the best scorer in the world right now. I think he's the best player in the world right now, and Giannis is second. So I would like to see him just go out and dominate. Go out and get 30 points off 12 to 15 shots because he's very capable of that, and don't give him too many minutes. Just make the game easy for him, and if you make it easier for him, it's going to make it easier for your team. So those are my little intricacies on the first game. I still think that at the end of the day, this is going to be an Eastern Conference Finals matchup if everything stays the same. But I think Milwaukee were plus 600 in the betting odds. And if you like a punt, like my old mate Barnesy, I wouldn't mind putting a bit of fat on them because I think they're certainties to be in the conference finals. And right now, I would take them over Brooklyn right now in a conference final series, best out of 7. Because we know Brooklyn can score, but they can't really defend right now. They don't have a defensive identity where Milwaukee does. They got Drew Holiday. They got Giannis. They got all defensive players. Chris Middleton's no slouch. And I'm taking the slander off Chris Middleton's name. He's one of my favourite players in the league right now. And that's going to be big. You know, a lot of people are going to be like, whoa. But I like what he does. Silent Assassin gets the job done. He's a player that I am building on. And you never know, you might see me in a Chris Middleton jersey one day. I actually really, really like him. I like his personality. I like everything about him. But that is my thoughts on the Eastern Conference game. Now I want to move on to the best game of the day. And I just want to play something for you because at the end of the day, I was right. I had my bet right. 1-10 Warriors. Just have a little listen to this.
Warriors, come out to play. Warriors, come out to play.
Mate, the Warriors, I am telling you, if you don't realize now, this team is built to beat teams like the Lakers. They are a team that is going to be trouble in the Western Conference. Now, what I will say, the Lakers looked decent in spurts. I'll give them that. I'll give them that they looked decent in spurts. But, mate, Golden State just should not. I don't think they should have won it. You know, first half, turnover after turnover after turnover. They didn't play great, but you know what? They were down by 4 points. Down by 2 points. I don't understand in the Lakers sense where this is a game you should have put to bed in the third quarter. You should have put them to bed. You should have strangled them, but you just let them have a sniff. And Jordan Poole, I didn't think he had a great first half. I thought, you know what, the hype might get to him, but he really turned that game. You know, he turned the screws and he really got it going. He hit about 2 or 3 3-point shots in that third quarter that really energized them, and they went on a run without Steph Curry. Because at the end of the day, I don't care what you say, Steph Curry did not have a good game for his standards. I know he got a triple-double, and that's not easy to do, but he wasn't shooting the ball at a high clip, and a lot of his shots he was getting were hard shots. You know, I will say Kent Bazemore, great job. You did a very good job on Steph Curry. I think it's one of the best defensive performances I've seen on Steph Curry in a long time, so I'll give you kudos to them. But I just think Jordan Poole really started it, and I really, really like the minutes of Bjelica. Nemanja. That's it. Nemanja Bjelica. I really like the minutes of him. Fourth quarter, when the game was in the balance, he was there making plays. Now, he is a player that can not just shoot it, he can put it on the dribble, and he makes right decisions. And there's no shock to me he's going to be a player in their rotation because he's a smart player that can read the game well. So I really like what he did. I also love Juan Toscano-Anderson. This guy, if you don't understand, this guy's kind of like a Caruso-type version for the Warriors. Now, I know he's not, you know, super flashy and he hasn't had the brilliance of him, but he gets the job done, works hard, plays bigger than what he is, and I really like that. And for me, I'm going to talk about the Warriors because I just love doing it because there's so many positives to take out of it. The fact that they're this good without Clay, without James Wiseman, without Kuminga, it's dangerous for the West. And if you're a Western Conference team, you will have to go through either Golden State or LA to get to the conference finals, in my opinion. And I think the Warriors are very, very deep. Now, another player I haven't talked about, Moses Mooney, when he came on, he looked really good, he looked comfortable, and it didn't look like he was scared at the moment. That's a big thing for me. You know, and Kuminga didn't play, he was in street clothes. I'm not too sure about the injury-wise, but he didn't play. But, you know, you add Kuminga in there where he gives you instant energy. This team's dangerous. And I said it before, sometimes not having Wiseman on the floor is a positive for them because they can play Warriors basketball. And Kevon Looney, he knows the type of style to play. And he didn't play heaps of minutes, but he started, and he did a good job, I thought, if you ask me. I think he did a very good job. And I just think the Warriors, as a whole, are a team that have a lot of upside brilliance. And I don't know if they'll get 50 wins. I don't know that. I wouldn't put, $1,000 on it. But I'm telling you, when Clay comes back, and they're going to wean him in, they're going to bring him off the bench, I reckon. And I reckon they're just going to slowly build him up. They are going to be a team that no one will want to verse in the Western Conference playoffs. I'm telling you, they are locking in top 4 seed in the West. And I think if they get third or second, and they don't have to verse the Lakers in the second round, they will make the conference finals. I am very strong on that. I do believe that. And I believe Steve Kerr showed his coaching brilliance when he realized that the Lakers didn't really have anyone to stop Steph Curry. They had Kent Bazemore. I did say he did a good job, But what they did was he got him on the dribble and they made him pass it, kick it, and he got his players in right situations. Andrew Wiggins hit some big threes. Otto Porter hit a big three. Jordan Poole hit a big three. And you know what? The sign of me of where Steve Kerr was a very good coach and a great coach, if you ask me, Jordan Poole was very shaky, but he didn't really take him off. He let him play through his mistakes. Now, as a coach, that's sometimes hard to do with your players, but he knows and he believed the brilliance and the trust and the talent of Jordan Poole. And that to me is a sign of a great coach. So I'm very, very impressed with Golden State. I know the biasm is real, but at the end of the day, you can't discredit Golden State because they played super great. And I think right now they are one of the most dangerous teams in the NBA, and they're a team that can beat the Lakers in a series. I'm sorry. Now, flipping it onto the Lakers right now, a lot of people are going to overreact to this. And a lot of people are going to overreact, especially to Russell Westbrook. Now, for me, I don't think, obviously, he didn't have a great game. Let's get that out of the way. But I don't think that he can't fit on this team, okay? And Charles Barkley, I think, had a pretty good point. He said, play Russ with the second unit. That way he's basically the man again, right? Everything runs through him and let him be that type of guy. Because at the end of the day, he's not better than LeBron and he's not better than Anthony Davis. So he's obviously the third fiddle there. How many times have you seen Russell Westbrook as a player play third fiddle? I don't think he's ever played that, to be quite honest, especially as being an all-star caliber player. So that's going to take a lot of time for him to get used to. But if you play him with the second unit, start him, of course. Don't bring him off the bench. Start him, but then stagger his minutes with the second squad. Now he feels like the man. And then he's going to have that confidence in game, and then he's going to be peak Russ, and then he can finish games with LeBron, with AD. And I think that's the way you get it. I don't think that it can't work, but I think there is a equation and a possibility to make it work, a way. And I think Frank Vogel needs to find that way. And I think it's a pretty smart option. Use him with the second unit. And sorry, don't play him with Rondo. Because I know Rondo hit maybe 2 threes this game, but they're not great shooters at the end of the day. And you can't really play them like that. So that's my take on the Westbrook situation. I do think it can still work. I know the podfather, Bill Simmons, says that he probably doesn't see it working. And I understand. I believe his arguments for that reason, but I still need to see, a 25, 30 game sample. And then I can make my judgment, because I still think Russell Westbrook can acclimate, because at the end of the day, he's got LeBron there. And LeBron wanted him there, because everybody says Rob Pelinka, mate, LeBron wanted him there, he gets there. You know what I mean? Like, apparently the Buddy Hield trade was a done deal, and then it wasn't a done deal. Connect the dots there. So that's my opinion on the Russell Westbrook take. Another take I really liked, and this is my opinion, and I thought that the Lakers should have signed him at the start of free agency, and it didn't annoy me, but it left me a bit stargazed and just a little bit dumbfounded. That's the word, of why they didn't sign him. Avery Bradley. Now I know he didn't play a lot of minutes, but when he came on at the fourth quarter, he looked like that guy that fits with LeBron, fits with AD, fits with Kent Bazemore. A defender that is at a supreme level. Now, 2 years ago when he was with the Lakers, a lot of people in the NBA circle said he was a top 5 defender in the league. And I just can't believe that it took him this long to sign him. Now, I think he's going to be in the rotation for a long time. I think he's going to be on the team for the rest of the season. I love what he does. I love his edge. I love that he can go out and defend the best player, but he can also shoot the ball at a pretty decent clip. And I think LeBron and AD are comfortable playing with him. And that's a big thing for me. And I don't like the fact that they were playing people like Malik Monk, that just, he's not going to fit on this team for some reason. I just feel that. And I hope I'm wrong, but I'm not too sure. And he should fit, because he's a pretty decent 3-point shooter and he's a slasher, but he just didn't fit. And I think Avery Bradley needs to start games. I think maybe, I did like Kent Bazemore starting, but maybe you start Russ, Bradley, LeBron, AD, and whatever the fuck they're doing with DeAndre Jordan or Dwight Howard starting. I don't get that. I would be starting Dwight at a premium, but I'm not too sure. I think Avery Bradley needs to get, if he's not starting, 6th or 7th man. Come off the rotation, come off pretty fast. I like Avery Bradley, and I'm a fan of him, but I'm a fan of the system that he can fit in LA. And they looked better when they had him on the court. I just think that it's an easy decision. Now, I will say that LeBron is looking very good. And this is the theory. This is what I'm going to say. The reason why the LA Lakers won the championship last year, 2020, was because of coronavirus. Now, you might say, what do you mean? So the season was playing, and then there was a 2 to 3 month gap. LeBron, as an older player, got to rest, right? But he also got to train his body and acclimate it to what he needed. He only needed to go on the bubble for a 2 to 3 month run. So he acclimated his body to that. He trained for it. He trained hard. And that was a massive plus for me, right? And now we look at it. This past season, they get bounced in the first round. So now LeBron has a long, long time to recover. He looked fast. He looked fit. His jump shot looked clean. He looked like a better shooter sometimes than Steph Curry. And I think he made more jump shots than Steph Curry. And now I definitely can tell you that he's not a better shooter than Steph Curry. Don't think in that sense. But I really liked, the level that he's still playing. And the way I would say, who's the best 5 players in the world right now? Currently, I'm going KD, Giannis, LeBron, Steph. I still think Steph is so hard to guard. A lot of people are putting Luka in that 5, and I love Luka. Don't get me wrong, but I think at the moment Jokic still needs his respect. I still think Jokic needs that respect, and Luka will be in that top 5 in the next 2 to 3 years. But then you think about it, you got Harden, you got all these players, Kawhi when healthy. So I still think at the moment Jokic does need his respect, but it's just so dangerous, man. It's so dangerous, LeBron, right now. I think the way I'm getting back to it, I'm sorry, I got on a tangent. The reasoning that he's looking fresh is because he's had this time off. And then you got to realize too, first time he got to LA, doesn't make the playoffs, gets a massive break. It adds up to why they won the championship. And I think this is going to be a good thing for LeBron. He's come out and said he doesn't want to rest. I'll believe it when I see it. I think he might get injured, and I'm putting that in quotation marks. He might get injured throughout the season. But I just think that he's looking really good. He's looking really fit, and he's looking focused. And a focused LeBron means a successful team. I don't care what you think. LeBron is still one of the most influential players in the league, and he's the second best player in the world, player ever. So that's just my take on LeBron. But guys, that's my first, official thoughts and opinions on the first 2 games. All right, let's not get it twisted. I still think these teams are maybe the 4 best teams, or the final 4 teams to end in the NBA, and put me on record. I think Golden State, they are kiddies. They are kiddies. And I've been saying this for a long, long time, and I'm not bandwagoning, but mate, put some fat on the Warriors, because they would have shortened up today. If they balloon out a little bit, guys, I'm telling you, Salty's pick, put the fat on Golden State. I'm telling you. Guys, thank you for listening. You'll hear a little bit more about our socials in this outro right now, but guys, thank you. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Lanes Podcast. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe all of the content that's coming your way. Hit us up on Instagram at LanesMedia_, all under capitalized letters. Thanks for listening, guys, but most importantly, have a great day.